What's up, pilot? I'm Aspen from the Pan Drinking Gaming channel, and welcome to another SMC video. As promised, I decided to make a separate video regarding the new Mecha Neutron stars, and I did a review regarding the new update. But in today's video, we're basically just gonna discuss about Neutron stars over here. And in today's video, we're gonna be covering his profile, his ability, his rotation, preferred modules, my personal opinion about this Mecha in terms of battle royale as well as deathmatch, and then last but not least, we're gonna be talking about his strengths and his weakness. So let's get down to it. So again, the Mecha has only been released for a couple of days, and they did say that it's his first test week, meaning that there's gonna be changes right after this week. But if you bought the Mecha with crystals this week, you'll be able to get the skin Thornbird, the pink one, and then the default skin as well at a cheaper price. But the mag is gonna be around 28,000 for free users if you want to purchase it instead of the 20,000 for the normal mag. So we're gonna get to the basic again. His name is Neutron Stars, and we're not gonna talk about a lot about the background. I don't want to waste your time here. You can read them yourself. So he's basically an FBI police mecha using to protect the peace of anything, justice, and injustice, and he's piloted by the pilot known as Yin. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're going to go through the ability, the next thing. Now before that, we're gonna talk about his battle features. He's a poke/move, difficulty hard. If you're sort of like a Archer user or a Skylark user, because he's a mixture of both. I know you all seen that meme already. You're not gonna find a lot of difficulty using this mech. Now talking about his battle range over here. First of all, he has a ranged weapon as well as a melee weapon. Looking at it over here. So battle range, I would say he's more of like a mid-range, but if you want to fight in long range, you gotta have the purple attack module. I will get to that later. And then armor level B sitting at 2,750. He's higher slightly than a Raven, Skylark, and Andro. Now the difference between this Raven, Andro, and Skylark having low HP makes sense because they're fighting from a range. But about this Mecha over here, he's fighting from mid-range as well as melee and sitting at only 2,750 durability. I would say a pretty risky thing to be using. Mobility wise, yes, mobility, I do think he is an S rank for mobility because of the constant dash he could have, and he's pretty fast and he can enter charge mode as well. And as for support, no, he's more of a semi-killing, semi-support poke, right? So let's get down to the next thing, which is his ability. Alright, primary ability, double energy blaster. Shoot 2 energy blaster at a fire higher rate. Very straightforward. Shooting his gun with 2 of his dual handgun SMG. So yeah. Secondary weapon ability, retractable bayonet. Hack a target with a retractable blade. Perform whirlwind slash in a charge. Similar like Archer, but as said, when you perform a melee attack, he's gonna have a auto target lock on. So yeah, pretty useful. And then his jump, we're gonna talk about his jump. Perform high jump over short distance. Not really. He does not jump really high. So I recommend NetEase change his name instead of Super Leap. Just leave it a leap because he's in a high skyscrapers place. You're gonna find difficulty in performing this mech in jumping mode. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna talk about his rotation. Alright, the first rotation move is gonna be Spiral Dash. First of all, you're gonna jump, and then you're gonna dash, and then you're gonna perform a melee before you hit the ground to perform a rotation, slightly dealing damage around people, but it allows you to travel faster and further, so it's really useful. And make sure to dash again to turn off the charge mode because you're gonna use this mode just to dash instead of staying in the charge mode. Now second rotation is basically just dash. You're gonna just jump, dash, turn off the dash because you don't want to be affected by the melee cooldown. Just like Archer, this guy when he uses melee attack, he's gonna have the bar there or there. Once it comes to 0, your melee attack is gonna have a cooldown, so you won't be able to travel a lot faster. So I recommend using Spiral Dash when you're trying to get closer to someone quicker, or you're either getting away from a ranged battle. Next rotation is called Shooting Mode to Melee. First of all, you're gonna shoot your opponent, and once you get close, engaging the opponent, you gotta try to reload, and then you're gonna jump, dash, melee all the way while you're reloading, so it's gonna save you time. For the next rotation is the Infinity Field Mode. You're gonna be using the TRSM core module, the one that gives you 0 gravity. Make sure you use this technique on higher ground as he can fly in a 3-dimensional way, so it's kind of poor. So what you're gonna be doing is that you're gonna jump, dash, and then you're gonna shoot at your opponents from certain angles or something. And when you're reloading, you're gonna do bayonet, the same thing as the previous one, and then when on the last hit of the bayonet, press charge again to stay afloat. Alright, the next thing we're gonna talk about is the modules over here. As for his attack module, you have precision rifling as well as energy bind over here. So we're gonna talk about I'm sorry. Let's talk about precision rifling first. Precision rifling decrease 10%, 20%, 30% long range damage fall off and spread for double energy blasters. So if you're using precision rifling, right? If you're not using it, you're gonna fight from far and you're gonna feel like Neutron Star is spraying his machine gun instead of hitting the target. You're gonna notice it if you're not using it. And as for the energy bind, increase 5, 10, 15% for violent damage for 5 seconds to target hit by double energy blasters. I would prefer precision riflings because you're gonna be fighting mid-range or long range at times. So yeah, precision rifling for me because I don't want to be missing my SMG. But he does have a quick reload time, only 1 second. So yeah, it gives him a lot of advantage. You don't want to be missing your range attack over here. Over here we have the defense modules. I would recommend going to the energy cycle instead of quick dodge, but we're gonna go through that each one. Energy cycle, recover 20, 30, 40 shield on every successful hit with bayonet. Again, Neutron Star has a low amount of HP, so energy cycle is gonna make him regenerate his shield and being able to last longer in close range battle. Quick dodge, decrease 5, 10, 15 damage taken when charging. Again guys, you're not gonna be using charging most of the time because you're gonna be using your charge mode for dash jumping or dash spiral jumping. Now the next thing is the propulsion modules over here. Encourage versus supply. Encourage increase 5, 10, 15% movement when taking damage during a charge. You want him to be moving faster? No, not really, but this one really depends on your playstyle over here, guys. You're not gonna be using a lot of time charging, so I would recommend going to supply. Recover field equal to 1 second, 3% of damage dealt in charge mode. This is not really useful. I mean, his propulsion modules doesn't change a lot, but it's kind of there. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the core module over here. I would recommend going to extended blade instead of a TRSM over there. Now, extended blade increase the attack radius for the bayonet. In case you don't know, bayonet is his melee attack. Again, I repeat, it's his melee attack, and it's gonna increase the AOE on certain amount of enemy. Then the next thing is the TRSM, the zero gravity flight when initiating aerial charge. Going back to the infinity field, or you wanna stay on the higher ground, it can be useful at times. But if you're gonna use the infinity field strategy, right, you're gonna get hit a lot by Andromeda, Skylark, Hostile, Raven, and it's kind of annoying. So I would recommend extended blade over TRSM, but that really depends on your playstyle, guys. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the secondary pilot preferred skills. I would recommend Expeditor's Charge because you're going to be using a lot of fields to compensate for this mecha. He's going to be doing a lot of dash jump. Although his jump doesn't consume a lot of fuel, but you're going to be doing it a lot. So I would recommend Expeditor's Charge or self-repair device if you're really worried about, because he's gonna be knocked out a lot of time and you want to stay back to his pilot form and kind of recover the mech a little bit. And then I do recommend Hive Infrastructure because again, Neutron Star has a very low amount of HP. So yeah, Hive Infrastructure is not bad, but as for the other, I wouldn't recommend. But hey, it's up to you, right? You got your playstyle. This is just my recommendation. The next thing over here we're gonna talk about is the map. When you're playing Super Mecha Champion, right, it's very important for what kind of map you choose in which kind of map, depending on the situation. And based on my experience, this is basically just my experience. Before we get down to the team deathmatch, we're gonna explain Battle Royale here. Now over at the green mark over here is the place where there's not a lot of buildings. Not saying there's none, but there's not a lot, and the buildings are not so high. So that's the best place to be using Neutron Stars. As for the yellow zone over here, not a bad place. You can still fight him, such as Mecha Assembly Factory, Turing Center, Alpha Tower. These places has a little bit of high ground. As for Alpha Tower, I know it's really high, but again, he's close to the building next door over there, the red zone. But still, you can still fight him with his range attack. And over here, the red zone is where a lot of skyscrapers are here. And as for West Villa, why did I put it yellow? Is because he's close to the red zone, so you're gonna be facing a lot of problem. Now, as for the red zone, you're gonna find mostly are the places with the bridge over there. In these places, you're gonna be struggling with a lot of bridges where you can't reach because he has a very low leap. Again, he has a very low jump. So when the safe zone gets near, there's a lot of places that you can't pass through. So you're gonna be blowing up instead of getting to a higher ground to escape. So yeah, I'm not saying that he's he's not strong on this map. He's just at a bit of disadvantages on the red zone as well as the yellow. But as for the green zone, yeah, he's still performing well, just like Arthur. When hitting the skyscrapers or higher ground, I would never use Arthur because I would use Raven instead. But very similar to Neutron Star, because first of all, he has a very low jump leap. Second of all, he can fly 3-dimensional or only 2-dimensional. So yeah, this is basically just my experience. As for team damage, I recommend you guys check out this guy's video. He's actually stated a lot of mistakes and common mistakes, and as well as the basic of Neutron Stars. He's a team deathmatch pro, so definitely check out his video. I'll leave them down in the description below. So yeah, I personally took this Neutron Star to team deathmatch about a couple of rounds, and I do find out that instead of in TDM, there's not much of a weakness for him. He's actually pretty good in TDM instead of Battle Royale, because in Battle Royale, you're facing him with a lot of range things. So yeah, he's kind of like a disadvantage over here. Last but not least, we're gonna come down to his strengths and weakness. So for his strength, first of all, he has fast reloading, only 1 second reloading, and second strength is that he got target, lock, melee attack, and very useful for the last hit. Has both range and melee attack to cover up. A lot of people saying that his melee attack is facing a lot of difficulty with pilots, but it still works as a last hit, so don't worry, it's pretty useful as a last hit as well. No limit to dashing except fields. Jump does not consume much fields. Able to go in small buildings, pretty similar to Firefox. Melee attack works best when enemy is below half HP. Now again, when you're playing Neutron Stars, I would recommend you utilize your range attack, and once you get close, make sure you use your melee attack. Again, don't forget to reload while doing the melee thing. And again, his weakness is that he has difficult time doing melee attack against pilots, so you're gonna be depending on your range attack, and as well as jumping a lot. So again, he does not have high jump, so facing a situation like skyscrapers or higher ground, and especially when the safe zone is coming to a higher ground place, you're gonna have a lot of difficulty with that. Fuel consumption, you gotta do. He does not consume a lot of fuel, but you gotta do a lot of his jump and dash. So I would recommend using the Joanna secondary skill, Expedite Fuel, and then you're gonna be multitasking. The reason why he's so hard to use is that you have to be multitasking. And again, for a melee mecha, right, he has a very low HP, sitting at 2750 compared to Raven and Andro Sky. This guy has to deal a lot of damage. Close range, mid range, you gotta utilize your range attack going into melee attack. So yeah, he's really low on health. I would recommend you guys using the range his range attack well, then only switch to melee attack. And then again, his melee attack activates after that. It's gonna have a cooldown just like Arthur, but I think it's a fair thing. And one of his most biggest weakness is that he's not able to fly 360 using his other core model TRSM. Alright folks, that's pretty much it about Neutron Stars. I make a short review about it. This mech is still new, and again, they did stated that the mech is being on its first week. There's gonna be changes, and on my personal opinion, right, I think they're gonna remove the Infinity Field strategy because it's kind of unfair. And well, that's pretty much it. I do hope they increase his jump. That's the one thing I want. Increase his jump, and then he's good. With low HP, I think it makes sense because since he has a range attack as well as a melee attack, so low HP does make sense. And again, I want to apologize that I thought the Grand Boom event actually gonna be coming on last week, but instead I think it's gonna be taking a couple of weeks, a couple of days before they can implement that. And I still think that he's gonna get the skin about Ryakadze. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna talk about again, guys. I'm Master here from the Panda Gaming channel, and I hope you find this video helpful, and I'll see you all next time on my next video.